as an employee, what else can I do to increase my streams of income? Number one, I'm discussing the safest strategy for a long-term wealth. So the safest strategy to be wealthy for a very long time. You see, everybody who is financially rich, of course, usually they start out with one thing. They start out maybe their tech work, whatever, but as they become successful, as they get to certain financial threshold, they always branch into many things. The reason is because anything can go wrong. Like in recent days, there have been a lot of hurricanes activities, in some certain states in the United States. And those who probably maybe only have maybe a grocery store or have only real estate business or something like that in one location, some of them are in serious trouble because their properties were damaged, maybe their house are broken, their shops are gone. See, so maybe have defaulted on their insurance payment. There's no way they could bail themselves out. So what? They've lost everything. See, but if you want to keep your wealth for a long time, you will have to do a lot of things. You put your money into so many things. Why? Because at a certain level of wealth, unless you are into several things that cannot all go wrong at the same time, your wealth is not guaranteed. So you've heard the word MSI, multiple stream of income, which is true. There is almost zero wealthy person who is doing one thing. Like I said, they may start with one thing, but they sure are not continually doing one thing. You see that for most of them, they have houses, they are into real estate, they have farms, and then they are into the business that brought them the wealth. And not even that. For many of them, their wealth is not in one location. For those who can even afford it, their wealth is in different nations. So they have investment in that country, in that country, in that country, or in that city, in that state, or that region. Why? Because they know that it is unlikely that everything will go wrong in all the places at the same time. Take, for example, Ukraine for the last 2 years. Those whose wealth are only built in Ukraine, who all their wealth are only in Ukraine, probably have become broke. There was a time they were very well off. But then there are some people who are Ukrainian citizens who are not affected that much by the war. Why? Because their wealth is beyond the borders of Ukraine. They've been able to build things in other nations. See, so what has happened is they have been able to keep their wealth in spite of the war. Of course, I know that most of the people I'm talking to are not at that level of wealth yet, but at your level. See, the thing about life is this. Usually, when you are successful in small things, you are likely to be successful in big things. Because what happens is when you have more money, all it does is it amplifies who you already are and what you're already doing. So where you are now, how many streams of income do you have? Maybe yours is only your job. That's not smart. And don't be thinking, I always say that when it comes to wealth, at times, some people are poor because of complex thinking. When you say things like MSI, they think complexly, oh no, I need to build something. No, it's not always like that. As a matter of fact, wealth are seen in simple things. So as an employee, what else can I do to increase my streams of income? Number one, you can have an investment. So you're putting aside a little amount of money every month that is being invested in either in stock, in shares, or in a trust account, something like that, that brings you return on investment. You see, it may be little, but what you are doing is you are training for greatness. See, so you can have an investment. So that investment is bringing you, maybe for instance, you are making 2,000 rands on your investment per month, and then your salary is coming. What has happened is you have now multiplied your streams of income to 2. And then, for example, maybe you're a lady and though you have a job as an employee, you have a skill, you know how to plait hair, or you know how to cook. Well, you can make appointments for weekends for those who like their hair to be plaited. So on weekends, you plaiting hair, and then during the week, you go to work. Or you have an appointment for after work, especially if you're single, after work to do one or two people's hair. You know what you're doing? You are multiplying. And then as you make all this money from these places, you just decide, I'm not spending it, I'm investing it. So what has happened is you've increased your source of income to 3. The hair you plait on weekends and maybe after work hours, and the money you are able to, from there, and maybe part of your salary, you are able to invest in something that is bringing you money. So you're making money from your skill, you're making money from your day employment, you're making money from your investment. That's multiple stream of income. You don't have to be complex. Maybe, for example, you have a car. As a young man, young person, you have a car. You can register your car with Uber or Yango or InDrive. All those applications are there. You register your car. You are an employee. But whenever you have free time, a call comes through, you quickly go and you pick the passenger, you drop the person, you collect the money, you go back to work. Or after work hours, maybe some people not close, maybe 5 p.m. or 4 p.m., somewhere there, from 4 to 8, you are available to drive. And the good thing about Uber, Yango, InDrive, and those kind of applications is you are not really going out until you have a call. You see, so this car you're driving also is now helping you to generate income while you are earning your salary. Who knows? It's possible that the money you generate from this car you're driving on maybe weekend or after work could be enough to sustain you. And then guess what happened? You invest part of your income, salary. So you have the investment, you have your salary, and then you are making money from your car. That's multiple streams of income. Or maybe yours, you don't have time to drive a car, what you could buy, you can afford to buy a taxi, not for you to drive. You bought a taxi that you probably can give to someone, not to drive for you, because it's another thing that people don't know. When you give somebody a car to drive a taxi for you, usually you will be the one losing. But the right strategy is you sell it at higher purchase. Let's assume you bought a taxi for let's say 40,000 rands. 40,000 rands. And you sold it for 80,000 rands on higher purchase. What I mean by that is you get a driver and say, look, this taxi will become yours if you can pay me 80,000 rands. You can put the time frame, maybe in 18 months or 2 years. So what has happened is your 40,000 rands investment will multiply to 80,000 rands in about 16 months. And usually those taxi drivers try to pay off as quickly as possible because the car is becoming there. So they work harder. So you go to work in the morning, and as they are paying you this money, the money is going back to your investment account. So what is happening is from the investment account, you are making profits, interest on the investment. And then this money you have invested in the car doubles. So you make profit from your investment in the car, and then from your maybe shares or stock or whatever it is you invest in, and then you are still working. This is multiple stream of income. You could get to a point financially where, who knows, maybe you buy a property, maybe a flat or an apartment for rental purpose. So you are doing this and doing that, little here, little there, little there, little there. And guess what? When you tally the money together, it's a lot of money. And it doesn't take much to do. If you want to sustain, like I said, if the safest strategy for building long-term wealth is multiple streams of income. Diversify. Who knows? And if you have all of these things that I'm saying now solidly established, if there's a trouble with one of these things, it won't affect you as much. If there's a problem on your job, it won't affect you as much. I know of a guy who is an employee in a particular, company in town, but he also have a transportation company. You have trucks that transport goods from one place to another. A time came, he resigned from his work. Why? Because the demand had become too much in his own business. This thing is not so complicated. If you just pay attention and be willing to be inconvenienced a little bit, your secret and your strength in well building will be as a result of your number one, wisdom, skill, and ability to be strategic. Don't, like they say, don't pack all your egg in one basket. There's a scripture in Ecclesiastes chapter 11, I think verse 1, that said, scatter your breads upon many waters. Is it because you don't know what is going to go wrong? You don't know which one will succeed. See, don't give the excuse that I'm an employee, I don't have time. Nobody have time. We all make time. See, we make plan to take advantage of time. You see, nobody have time. So think about it. You know, you can even negotiate with all your colleagues. Take you to work in the morning, bring you back. This is how much I'm charging. Maybe a little bit cheaper than the taxi will charge. So they have dependable transport. You can take 4 people, for instance. In the morning, you take them to work. In the evening, you bring them back. They pay you every end of the month. See, those little things. That is what you're diversifying. And guess what? When money comes in the big, come to you like a windfall happen, you'll already have been built into thinking that kind of way of thinking. And then you can put your money there, a little there, a little there, a little there. For both your financial safety and financial longevity, wealth longevity. So be strategic. That's the point. Be strategic. Don't be hooked to one thing. If you have maybe you don't have time to drive a car, or you don't have a car to drive, you can, build a small kiosk, maybe in front of your house, and then you put in basic things that people need, like bread, like all of those things they come to buy. That's multiple streams of income. See, you'll be amazed to find out that some of the people who are into big time businesses stumbled into it. It's not all the time that people sit down and have a business plan and they know what they are going to do. Sometimes they stumble into it. They just went out to try something. Like I told you now, maybe you went to try out an Uber stuff. Before you know, you're making a lot of money. And because you have so much money, you decide to buy another car. You get someone else to do it. Before you know, you have 5 cars. You have 10 cars. You now have a big company. You stumble into it. See? So think, and don't be in one place anymore. Thank you. If you have a question to ask, kindly send it. I'll try my best to answer. And if you have not subscribed to our channel, please do that today. Thank you.